Hello and welcome back to Swinging at Shins, a Premier League podcast from across the pond. I'm Rhett, and I'm joined as always by Aaron. Aaron, how you doing?
Tired.
Yeah, me too. Definitely me too. And it's not going to get any better for me,
Nope.
both from a soccer standpoint and from a life standpoint. But here we are.
Well, no, come on. You can't say that it's not good with another baby on the way.
We're talking about tired, not good. Tired.
You just said it wasn't
Was
going to
your
get any
word?
better.
Your word was yes.
Okay.
I'm not going to get
fine.
any more rested. My tiredness is not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. I've already done this once. All right. Up on the show, we have Emery unlocking Villa's potential. Fulham finally faltering, and I don't think that's going to get any worse with Mitrovic essentially just being out for the rest of the season.
Yep.
Palace laying the hurt. Would they be doing this if Patrick Vieira was still manager? Leicester hire interim replacement. Someone you know very well.
Very well.
And a ref elbowed a player. I did not say that backwards. A ref elbowed a player in the face.
Straight up
But
Muay Thai.
before we get to
elbow.
that, we're going to talk about that game, which was Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2 at Anfield. I want to know your opinion.
It was a good game. I don't know, maybe I did say this, maybe I didn't say this, but Anfield is a weird climate. It doesn't matter what type of form Liverpool are in, they will always play weird. I mean, they won 7-0 against a Man U that was on fire. And at the end of that match there, they really could have snagged 3 points. It was
I
that
don't even know
close.
if you have to wait for the end of the match to have snagged 3 points.
No, true.
However, I think it was very open. They had a better second half.
Well, for sure.
Liverpool definitely had a better second half.
For sure.
I got to tell you, the first 40 minutes, it did look like it was done. Arsenal was playing the Arsenal way. You could hear the away fans. Anfield sounded like a library. You thought, that's it. You know, Arsenal have a stranglehold on this game. This is what they've been doing all season. I understand Liverpool have been very good at Anfield all season.
Yeah.
Arsenal has the best away record of anyone at the Prem, which not even a lot of people, including me, have not been doing a good job of talking about Arsenal's turnaround in away form. Away form used to be what killed Arsenal, and now they have the best. But it very quickly didn't matter anymore, and Liverpool definitely showed up to play.
Yeah, I think right after that Xhaka confrontation with Trent, I believe, Anfield woke up. It literally scored 30 seconds after that was dissolved. And
yeah, a lot of people are pointing at that, and for me, that was they were already climbing the mountain at that point. That did not seem like a turning point to me. That seemed like a continuation of how Liverpool had already started to steer the match back into their direction. I was very happy when we got to halftime. I was begging for halftime.
oh, for sure. I bet.
And I really thought that Arsenal were going to come out at the half
Mm-hmm.
and take the game back over. And that just did not happen.
I don't know what Arteta told him at halftime, but obviously something didn't click.
I don't know if it mattered what he told him. I think Anfield did get a little bit into the Arsenal player sets. It's difficult because again, it's not the longest streak that we've had not winning. Arsenal's been very bad away for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They going into last year or 2 years ago, they hadn't won away at Old Trafford since 2006. They hadn't won at the Bridge in years and years. They hadn't until this year. They hadn't won at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at all. They hadn't won against Tottenham away since 2014. So it's not like this is the only place that they can't win. It's just, man, Liverpool always slapped them, you know, and that's definitely in their heads. It didn't matter how good you were doing. Liverpool was going to slap you.
There's always
And I think that
doubt.
played a part.
Yeah.
I also think this is, I mean, like you said, this Liverpool side is just weird.
Yep.
I don't know how to say it any better than what you said. How do you 7-0 against Man United?
What
To
group?
say nothing of the 9. I don't care. It's 2 Premier League teams. I don't care if it's Bournemouth. 9-0 is insanity.
Yeah.
Arsenal also had a really, really good chance in, I think, the 88th minute to win the
Something
match.
near
It was
there.
on the break,
Yeah.
and the pass
Oh.
just wasn't quick enough.
Martinelli passed
Just
it, just let it a
wasn't
little too
quick
far.
enough. It needed to be a little bit quicker. And then the one thing that, and I'm going to get into this a little bit more on the way West End, hopefully. The one thing that it irks me about Arteta, and I trust Arteta and I love him, but it's like the one thing I would like to see him do differently is I want a little bit quicker on the subs. You got to give a guy like Trossard at least 30 minutes.
True.
You either give him 30 minutes or you don't put him on. But putting him on with 15, it's got that feeling of too little too late.
I'm just trying to think, like, do you want to sub? Because he came off for Gabby? Jesus?
Yeah, Jesus. And I would have done exactly that move 20 minutes earlier. He came on the 80th minute. I would have done it in the 60th. Jesus is coming back from injury, and we need him to be healthy. He's playing an incredibly hard game. I love what Jesus does for us. I do. I have been singing Jesus' praises. It was a true false he gave me a couple weeks ago. Does he slot right back into the team? Yes. But I would have loved to see Saka and Martinelli and Trossard, who, by the way, already has a hat trick at Anfield with Brighton this year. So he has none of this juju that the rest of the Arsenal players have.
Yeah.
I would just love to see the three of them cook for 30 minutes. I think that I think we really could have brought the game back onto our side. I also will say this. I don't know why Klopp started Jota over Nunez. I would not have done that. If Nunez started this match, I think that it's a 3-2 scoreline.
Sell him!
Sell him. Please. He always plays well against us. He really, really does. I say always. It's been 2 matches. But the 2 matches, he has been like the Nunez that they spent all that money for.
I don't know. I think that I don't think it was a wrong decision to start Jota. He does a lot of combination work with the wingers as well. So I don't know. I feel like that's a fine start, and that Nunez took advantage of the tired legs already. I'm not saying that Nunez isn't obviously a stellar player, and that he couldn't have changed the game if he started. But obviously, there's also advantage to being subbed on too. So,
yep,
it may have made him look a little bit better.
One other thing, and I want to play this off someone instead of bringing it up in the way of West Ham. Because as much as I love Brian, he doesn't really know enough about the league yet. This is not me making an excuse. Everyone has said that the reason why Arsenal is going to falter, and again, 6 points is better than 5, and I'm not sure that getting a draw at Anfield is a faltering when City didn't get any points at Anfield this year. But if Arsenal's going to falter, it's going to be because of lack of depth. I'm not making excuses for injuries. I'm not saying, it's not fair. I'm not saying that. If we have a 100% healthy William Saliba, or if we have a more refined Kivior, or if we just have anyone other than Rob Holding as our center back, I think we get out of here with 3 points. And what my point is, the people who are saying that Arsenal doesn't have the depth, yes, but I never was that scared about Partey, especially now that we have Jorginho. I was never that scared about Xhaka, especially now that we have Emile Smith-Rowe back. I have always been scared of if we lose Big Gabby or Saliba, I do not love our backup center backs. And again, it would have changed the match, but Mo Salah missed a penalty in the 54th minute that Holding gave away.
Yep. You've never been the biggest fan of Rob Holding, and there's an obvious reason for that. He's just
too many big games.
He's
too many big games he gives up. I just, and it's not just from a defensive standpoint. I think go ahead.
He's Cullum Chambers 2.0.
Yeah.
That's literally who it is.
Actually, Colin Chambers is kind of his 2.0 because Holding's been around for longer, but I understand your point exactly.
Yeah.
I understand your point exactly. He's great in that nitty-gritty, let's just defend.
Yeah.
But if you put him out there for 90 minutes, he's going to get exposed against guys like Salah. And last year, Son, he had 2 yellow cards and was sent off in the basically top 4 deciding game at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't – he gives his all, and he's an Arsenal boy through and through, and I love him for that. But we need more center backs. And I don't know if it's just Kivior maturing because he's a very young kid. We probably need to mature him and go get someone else. But if at any point we lose both Saliba and Big Gabby at the same time,
screwed.
That we're done. We're done. Tierney's playing one of the center backs. Holdy's playing the other. And again, the idea was it's okay because we can slot Ben White into a center back role, which is his more natural position anyway. Mm. And Tommy can play on the right. But now Tommy Yossi is out for the rest of the year with a knee injury. And again, I'm not making excuses for injuries, but this is why City can go on the runs that they can because they are just next guy up. And Arsenal is building towards it, but they just don't have that depth yet. Yeah. And I think you saw it here. Because the other thing is just ball handling and ability to quiet everything down. I have the ball. He can deke a attacker very quickly and just distribute. And that's something Holding just can't do.
No, he's floundery with the feet. But
this is a match that in like the 28th minute when we went up 2-0, I was saying, oh my God, 3 points. This is it. We're doing it. We're doing it.
Pump in the air.
And then, seriously, I was screaming in the beer garden. It was pretty packed. And the Arsenal fans were definitely letting the Liverpool fans know.
I bet they would.
And then at the end, it kind of felt like we stole a point, even though they had the goal in the 87th minute. Mm-hmm. Not like at the end of game time, it felt like we lost. And now looking back at the game, it's like, we were really lucky to get a point out of that.
Yeah, I mean, that game.
Aaron Ramsdale, player of the match by like enormous margin. He stood on his head for a couple of saves.
There was, if it was anybody else but Kuyate taking that shot at the end, is it Kunate?
I believe so.
I think it's Kunate. I think that goal goes in, but it falls to the wrong person, and Ramsdale does what he does.
Yep.
So,
yeah, it was a very good match. I think Arsenal is still in a good position. Obviously, they would have been in a better position with 3 points.
Oh, God, yeah.
But the whole point of this was title race is shrinking. It is no longer 8 points. It is 6 points.
Yep.
So this is the way the math works out easily enough. The goal difference has widened back out to 5 because City had another 4-1 victory.
Haaland decided to go off again.
Yeah, Haaland did his best Kevin De Bruyne impression. No, sorry, that was against the Bayern. But I think that's worth noticing. When he starts assisting people like that, the world is in danger. That assist he had for the second goal against Bayern, I was like, no, don't start doing that now. I need you to be the selfish, greedy little bitch, all right? I don't need you. No, don't do that.
Slot another computer chip in. Assists.
Not hoping for injuries at all. But Kevin De Bruyne came off. Everyone's saying it's precautionary. Everyone's saying it's just a knock. Everyone's saying don't worry about it. But something to keep an eye on. I have no idea if he's been back in training today.
I haven't got the slightest clue. Probably too early.
He's the guy that City should be scared of losing. Haaland misses a game, and Julian Alvarez just goes, okay, I'll score bangers.
Cool, I'll step in.
KDB, there's no replacing him. Not that they would lose, but here's the way it looks. Arsenal have played 30, have 73 points, a goal difference of 43. City have played 29, have 67 points, a goal difference of 48. If Arsenal win out, it doesn't matter. Arsenal can lose one match, and it doesn't matter. If Arsenal lose one match and draw a match, I think they have to draw City. Apart from that, if they draw anyone else and City win out, then we're getting into goal difference, and I don't like that math.
No, I'm going to take City all the way on goal difference, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. Anyone would.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Arsenal at one point were within 2 goals made me very happy. And again, it can happen. The way everyone's doing the math, we're all assuming City's going to win out. If City wins out, that would be like 15 or 16 straight wins for them, which they've done. It is not impossible, but this City team has not shown that kind of consistency. They still have Champions League. After the first leg showing against Bayern, they will still have Champions League, almost assuredly after this round.
Yep.
So, again, possible, but making a big assumption that City just wins everything.
They got FA Cup too.
Yes, and we keep bringing that up. However, the final takes place the week after the Premier League ends, doesn't it?
I believe so, but even at that rate, you still have to play April 22nd against Sheffield United.
Really?
Yes, I'm looking at it right now.
Oh,
is that a semi, I think?
Yeah, it must be. Sorry. I saw the 4 teams left, and I guess my brain just immediately went to it's a Manchester final, and then I thought we were going semis. That's my bad. So yeah, they still have an FA, which again, it's more minutes on legs, higher chance of injury, higher chance of whatever.
Yeah.
Not that I'm hoping for any of that, but it is one of those things where nothing is decided. As scary as that is. Arsenal have Chelsea at home.
Yep.
Chelsea. Let's just get Chelsea out of the way real quick. Eric, did they win?
Nope.
All right, moving on.
Sick.
We've talked enough about Chelsea. Chelsea are currently losing 1-0 to Real in the Champions League.
Balls. I thought they were supposed to win 3-0. Todd Bowley said 3-0. Damn it.
I got a crazy notification. Some troll on Twitter posted that Bayern was sacking Thomas Tuchel after the whole Mane thing. And I bought it. I had a rough night, and I bought it. Sorry. I have a score update. They're now losing 2-0 to Real. And that's in the 87th minute. So
I think that's done and dusted.
Also, for both the Chelsea match just got moved back, so we'll have a couple more days of rest after the City match. And for both those games, I think we're expecting Saliba back. So
hey, that's a big boost.
Arsenal's in the right position.
Yep.
So that's where we are in the title race. Let's move up to the other thing. I know you're itching to talk about this. We have to talk about this.
Yeah.
We are going to ignore the fact that Brighton has 2 games in hand on them and is only 1 point behind.
Yep.
But here's the table, guys, for people who have only been paying attention to the very top and the very bottom. Arsenal, City, pretty big size gap. Newcastle United, Manchester United. 3 points after that, Hotspur. 6 points after that, Aston Villa.
Aston Villa.
In
Let's
6.
Go. In 6, baby. We don't stop winning. Except for that one draw we
go that high.
No, I didn't think so either. I was a little scared at 6. I'm so impressed with this core group, with this group of people, these players, the coaching staff, the manager. It's impressive. I love it.
So to give you an idea, Brighton have Chelsea coming up. They have 2 games in hand.
Yes.
On Aston Villa, they're 1 point behind.
Yep.
Not to completely burst your bubble.
No.
But Brighton's probably going to move in front of Aston Villa.
Wouldn't doubt it.
Liverpool, however, I think of the more interesting team. They only have 1 match in hand, and they're 3 points behind.
Yeah.
You guys are. I mean, you're 6th right now, but you are essentially 7th, and that is amazing.
Yeah.
Considering where you were at one point. What's the lowest Villa was at?
17th.
Oh my God, that's 10 spots. It's 11 spots now.
Huge improvement, and it's only going to get better. So, everybody, I talked about this with Brian, the Villa, and for the preview is pretty much everybody is, team cohesion is fantastic. Everybody is feeling comfortable. Everybody's getting to a comfortable position with how Uwe plays. So that's
And
this is what we're seeing.
You look at team form. Nottingham Forest 2-0,
Mm-hmm.
Leicester 2-1, Chelsea 2-0, Bournemouth 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I understand. May not be the big names, but
You still got to put W's.
you're winning. You're winning.
Yeah. Still got to put.
Very impressive.
Yep.
Very impressive, I think.
I think they're not going to. They'll probably, if I could see this 8th, that's as low as they're going to go. And there's still a possibility for Europe too. So
I think that's true. They're 4 points up on Brentford right now. They're playing a lot better than Brentford is.
Yep.
Fulham is not even worth talking about.
But we're going to
Liverpool. Later. I think Brighton's going to finish ahead of them.
I could see that. I'm not. I wouldn't be upset about that at all.
If Brighton doesn't finish ahead of them, I'm going to be a little bit upset because Brighton has had such a good season.
Yes.
And again, Brighton, I think right now would be ahead of them if Brighton had played all their matches.
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it.
But Liverpool, I don't know. I agree with you. I think 8th is the lowest I got. I really do. I'm not expecting Fulham to do anything. Chelsea's laughable, and everyone else is too far away.
Yeah. I'm totally fine with that being the bar. So, I mean, compared to – this is what Villa has been promised too, like back with the Dean Smiths and the Steven Gerrard hiring. We were promised Europe for so many years in a row, and then just never got it. And then we were promised, an identity, never got it. We were promised attacking football, never got it. And it's kind of as a Villa fan, you're kind of starstruck a little bit on
I would be.
How well things have finally worked. So,
well, and as much as you guys never expected to be in a relegation battle, at one point you were aimless under Steven Gerrard
mm-hmm.
in 17th. And I think if you guys don't go get Yui, or at least if you keep Gerrard, and the point swing is incredible. You're probably down where Wolves and Palace are.
No doubt.
And that's just to know where you were a couple months ago or several months ago to where you are now, and to see you're ahead of Chelsea, you're ahead of Brentford, you're ahead of Liverpool, you're ahead of Brighton.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah. I mean, and it's been the word I want to use is meteoric, but then my brain's like, no, that falls and doesn't go up. But it's been a meteoric rise because it was like a couple weeks ago that we were talking about, man, I want to start seeing Aston Villa on the first, the top 10. And then now it's like, no, yeah, we're 6. And I don't think we're going to end up on the bottom half of that, right? Like,
yeah.
If you had Yui all season, it'd be insane to think of where you'd be.
Like, since his hiring in November or whatever, I don't remember. Since his hiring in November, they've picked up the third most points in the league. Yeah. So, I mean, it's, again, obviously great coaches.
Arsenal, City.
Us.
Villa. That's
Jesus. Could you imagine? I mean,
when United and Newcastle were going on their run, there's no way you ever thought you'd be within 9 points of them.
No, kidding me?
Jesus,
it's spectacular. But people, if you want to listen more about Villa, catch me at the Villa. So
going back to the Liverpool match, there's something we forgot to talk about.
Oh, shite! Yes, we did.
Robertson got elbowed in the face. And it wasn't Xhaka.
Nope.
And it wasn't Partey.
Absolutely not.
It wasn't Ramsdale.
I don't think it was a player at all.
No, it was a linesman.
Oh, it was a linesman.
I don't know what the hell happened.
He looked very angry, the linesman.
Now, I I would probably be angry with Robertson yelling in my face all the time too. But
I wouldn't be.
ref elbowing a player.
Never mind. I got Robertson mixed up with Henderson. Oh wait, Robertson is Scottish, isn't he?
Yes.
I wouldn't understand him then.
Henderson is English.
Yes.
Robertson is Scottish.
Yeah.
The guy has he been let go? I know he's been suspended.
He's been suspended. He is under investigation, and he is not allowed to ref matches until the investigation is complete. But I mean, realistically, the guy should get canned. There's no way he should.
Yeah, what are you going to investigate?
I don't know. Like
with video, you have like 13 different camera angles. None of it wasn't defensive.
No.
It's like the whole Zinedine Zidane thing. It's
right.
Like, we're going to do an investigation, but one guy clearly headbutted the other guy.
I guess the investigation could go, hey, what did he say to you? Did it merit a reaction like that?
Well, the investigation could be if Robertson also gets suspended. Sure.
But still,
no, what can you say in 2023 when we have all these rules in place that we're supposed to follow? What can you say to someone that merits elbowing in the face when you're in a position of power over him? You know what I mean? It's one of those things like you would never, again, we're going back to umpires in baseball. You would never expect an umpire to punch a manager in the face because he could just be like, you have to leave now.
Yeah.
Like Bubba, and the refs are the exact same thing. It happens in the Marco Silva thing in the FA Cup when he threw the ball at the fourth, and the fourth official went over to the head ref and said, "Hey, red card him, please." Okay, sure. There's nothing you can say with the power dynamics in play.
Yep. That
you deserve an elbow. In the heat of the moment, two guys running after a ball, I'm not condoning it, but I can understand it a bit more. Yeah. A ref can never do this, nor should a player ever be able to do this to a ref.
Sure. So I guess, is it any different than Mitrovic pushing the ref then? I'm saying, since the ref elbowed him and that Mitrovic got 8-game ban, but the ref elbowed Robertson, does he get canned or does he get suspended for a certain amount of time?
I would argue that it is different. It's different enough because Mitrovic
pushed
him, but he didn't try to this was clearly it was meant to do harm. It was meant, yes, that's a good way of putting it. It's a strike as opposed to a push in a pushing kind of an screw you kind of way.
Yeah.
Now we can get into the whole argument of the players are the product that you're selling and the refs are not. So players will always have more protection.
Sure.
I think the other thing is there needs to be a 15-yard safe zone for the referee, and you can only come in if they've. No, again, just the captains can talk to the refs. Mm-hmm. You cannot go up to the ref unless you're the captain. And if you do, you get yellow carded. If you just start doing that, all these problems go away. I also do think it's different because players have been crowding referees, and it's something that referees have not been doing a good enough job. Have the window open, it's windy. The referees have not been doing a good enough job at policing, even though they have the ability to do it.
Mm-hmm.
A ref, there's been no build-up to a ref elbowing a player. And as much as I say that, yes, these things should be taken inside a vacuum, he should be suspended and probably canned, or at least sent to a lower league for a while. And outside of a vacuum, there's been no build-up to this. The whole Mitrovic thing had a build-up. They've been finding teams, sure, until you start going after the guys on the field. with yellow cards, which leads to suspensions if you accumulate too much, or possible red cards if you get another one, until you start going after them. The amount that they fined Arsenal in total is like chump change to a team like Arsenal.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you start, that's what I said the last time. If you start fighting the players, they might care.
Yeah.
So
I
think
you have all of these things in place. Just use it. Just use it. Just start yellow carding people.
Yeah. Start
Start
fighting the
doing
players. Start.
If they bump you, start pulling out reds. If they crowd you and stop you from where you're trying to walk, start pulling out yellows.
Yeah.
They're going to get it real quick. And it's going to be a little bit, well, that's not fair. You didn't do that last time. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Sometimes we screw up.
Fuck around and find out.
But we didn't call that Matoma penalty, even though we should have. And next time, I really hope to God they call that penalty. Even if it's Harry Kane getting his foot stamped on, I don't know how you missed that.
Oh, the most recent match with Tottenham?
Yeah, which, by the way, the PGMOL sent an apology to Brighton saying,
good.
We screwed up. That should have been a pen.
How heartfelt.
Like, yes, the sun also rises in the east. I don't know.
That was such a terrible call. Also, there was another terrible call in that match as well where McAllister took a deflection. It took a deflection off of Danny Welbeck's shot, and McAllister's hand was up against his body, deflected against his arm, went in the goal. They overturned it because it hit his hand.
Yeah.
But it's
Brighton
like
were
my
really,
body,
really hard done.
How can I? Do you want me to put it under my jersey? Like, you tell me to keep it close to my body. Where else can I put it at this point? You want to shove it up my butt?
The arm has to be somewhere.
Right.
The arm has to be somewhere.
It was going to take a deflection no matter what, whether his arm was there or not. It was going to hit his chest and take a deflection. The knock should be that Lloris should have saved it, even though it took that deflection, because he did end up.
Well, Matoma was also hard done again with the off the shoulder. He played it off the shoulder.
That one too.
And they
called
it a handball.
Yeah, that one's like more armpit area, and I'm like, you're telling fans, you're telling players where they can rightfully, handle a ball. And it was in that area where he could rightfully handle the ball, and they still gave him a no goal on that. They called it a handball.
I mean, it says the arm commences at the bottom of the armpit, which most of the time, especially when they're drawing lines for offsides, it's essentially where your jersey ends.
Yeah,
is where they do it, and he played it right here.
Yeah,
and as a defender, I didn't like it. I was like, no, you can't do that. That's definitely arm. But then you look at the rules and you're like, it's not. I mean, this game very easily could have been 4-2 Brighton.
Yeah. I totally understand why De Zerbi got a red card. Actually, I really don't, but
he's fired. I don't think this is his first red card.
I don't think so either. He's a cagey. He's he's like a player's coach, player's manager. I feel like he's very much for defending you if you need to be defended, but also, if you need to be worked on and criticized, he'll also do that too. Yep. I would play for De Zerbi. I'd run through walls for De Zerbi.
I probably would. Going back to let's just follow him real quick. I don't want to talk too much about him because in this crazy season, one thing is constant, and Fulham just did not have enough on the tank to continue the run. Everyone was kind of saying it.
Yeah, I also think it's the fault of Mitrovic here at this point, and they didn't have also enough in the tank. They don't have another quality striker to replace, and this is where it's showing. They're still playing well in the midfield. They've been having decent defensive matches. It's just they're not scoring. They're having a hard time scoring, and when you lose a player, puts in 20 goals.
Yeah, and they also haven't had a match that I've been impressed with in coming up on 2 months.
I would agree with that.
On February 18th, they beat Brighton 1-0.
That might have been who scored that one? Was that Solomon?
Very good memory, yes.
Yeah.
After that, 1-1 draw to Wolves, a 2-0 lead win at Craven Cottage against Leeds in the FA Cup.
Mm-hmm.
3-2 loss to Brentford. That exhibition against Arsenal that they lost 3-0. 3-1 loss to United in the FA Cup.
Yep.
This is where everything we're talking about happened. The Mitrovic red card, the Silva red card.
Yep.
But again, as much as I'm saying that the whole Xhaka they yelled at each other. No one would, if it wasn't Xhaka, it wouldn't have fired up anybody. Seriously. If it was anyone else, everyone would have been like, oh, yay, we're fighting. But because it's Xhaka and it's Xhaka's history, everyone went after him.
Do you want to fight with Trossard? I think Trossard is the other player.
Maybe. But I don't think Trossard, I don't know. Anyway.
Not
talking about that match. We're talking about the whole Silva, Mitrovic, Willian was actually the guy who got the red card that started the whole thing.
Yeah.
That just it feels like a continuation down. It does not feel like the inciting moment. It feels like a symptom of the fact that they were already starting on this downward trend. Then after that, a 2-1 loss to Bournemouth.
Yep.
And then a 1-0 loss at home to West Ham.
Yeah.
It is just they have and in
a
very big way, they never really deserved to be as high as they were. They definitely deserve to be in the top half of the table compared to how other teams have been playing.
For sure.
But the Fulham that was in like 6th and 7th for a while. So I don't know about that, guys.
Yeah. Called their bluff.
A little bit, yeah. It'll be very interesting to see what happens on Saturday. Going away to Goodison Park. Everton are not a great team, but I have a feeling that Steve Bruce at Goodison, teams have been struggling at Goodison.
I'm sorry. Who?
No. Yep. My bad.
The Cabbage Man?
We're going to talk about him in a minute. Sean Dyche.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, looking at this list, I don't know where Fulham's next win is.
I haven't pulled it up.
Southampton in May. They have away to Everton, home to Leeds. Could win that one. Could.
Yeah.
Leeds, I think.
50-50.
If
it was at Ellen Road, probably.
Yeah. If it was at Ellen Road, I would be more leaning towards Leeds, definitely.
Yeah.
It's at Craven Cottage. But if they don't win at Leeds, then they are at Villa Park.
Yep. Good luck.
And then they have City at home.
Good luck.
Then away to Anfield.
Good luck.
Then home to Leicester.
There's a possibility.
But that's May 8th. And then after that, away to Southampton.
I think my money would be on
Crystal Palace. And then they end the season at Old Trafford. That is a rough end of the season.
Yeah. I think they pick up like 6 points for the rest of the year. I'll say 6 to 10. That's probably where they'll land.
Yeah, okay. I just got a true false too.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on. Palace starting to play very well.
Yes, they are.
5-1 it ended up being?
Yes. Just a moment. Por favor.
5-1 against Leeds.
Yep, 5-1. They went down. I think, weren't they down too?
Yep, they were down. They were down going into the half. And then in the second half.
They were 1-1 in the half.
Oh, it was 1-1.
Mark Gahey hit that.
Yes, 45 plus 1.
Yep.
So it was 1-1 at the half. And then Ayew and Eze just like almost back to back within 10 minutes of the second half starting. And then at that point, it was kind of all over.
Yep.
Here's my question to you, sir.
Hit me.
Would Palace still be doing this if Vieira was manager, or do you think Roy Hodgson is doing this much?
I think both managers would be doing exactly what's happening right now. So yes, I think Patrick Vieira would be winning games. It is a softer portion of their schedule where Vieira had a very difficult part. However, I also think Roy Hodgins also kind of brings some nostalgia factor back into Crystal Palace. So the fans are a little more behind it. They're not as dreary watching the games. Obviously fans help boost. I don't care what a player says. You can hear your fans. I think some nostalgia helped boost a little bit, and that's kind of what we're seeing. And I know this wasn't at Selhurst Park. This was at Ellen Road, but still, the nostalgia factor, being able to have a little bit of fresh air, I think, is what's happening.
New manager bounces are a thing.
Yeah, for some coaches, for some managers.
There's a lot of argument that it is as much a return to the mean as it is an actual new manager bounce. At this point, I think they would have beaten this Leeds team.
Probably.
I think the fact that they beat this Leeds team by 4
was pretty outstanding.
Might be the Hodgson bounce part. But the thing is, at this point, I mean, I don't know. The goals could matter.
They could.
The goals could matter, depending.
Are they in a positive now? Or no, they're probably
still
in the negative.
No, God, no. They're at negative 11. Wolves at negative 18. West Ham at negative 12. Bournemouth at negative a gazillion. Leeds at negative 15.
Yeah.
Leeds was at negative 11. Now they're negative 15.
Huh.
Everton negative 20. Nottingham Forest negative 30. Leicester negative 12. Southampton negative 27. So of all the teams in the quote-unquote relegation battle, They now have the best goal difference.
This is what I was looking up while you were talking. Opta posted something where it was each team's fixture for the remaining matches, and I don't know when they posted this, so I think it was maybe April 1st, so the beginning of the month. At the bottom, at the easier part with, and I don't understand what the Opta's average power rankings of remaining opponent, which is the bottom.
Yeah, but Crystal Palace is the easiest run.
Yeah, at 82.5%, whatever that means. So
they're like 7 of their 9 remaining matches now. Well, now it's, I think, 6 of 8 are against relegation.
Marshmallows.
Teams in the relegation battle.
Yeah.
So not only do they have the easiest run, they also control their destiny.
Sure.
Palace kind of got sucked into this. You know how a rising tide lifts all boats? This is kind of like a, sinking tide kind of dropped them, and they were. I never fancied them for relegation.
I didn't think so either. I think, unfortunately, exactly. They just got.
They're in the relegation battle. That's true. They're 6 points ahead of relegation. However, they're also 12th, and they have the easiest run. And I don't see them. Of all the teams that are going to fail to get points, I do not see them being one of the teams.
I also think they have one of the better quality teams in this 8. I think the other one would be probably West Ham and Leicester City having close quality.
Apart from Leicester City, I think we're seeing a little bit of this is kind of like I expected West Ham to be top half of the table, not higher than 10th.
Yeah,
but Palace, Wolves, West Ham. If you take Leicester out of that, we're starting to see a little bit of the cream of the relegation battle of rising to. Those teams have the better squads. Right now, those teams have, I think. So Vieira was a good coach. We know how I feel about Lopetegui. And as much as David Moyes has egg on his face because he failed to be the heir apparent to, only Sir Alex Ferguson, who no one can – City has been – no one could do that. And right now, even ETH hasn't done that.
Yeah.
I think Moyes is a better manager than people give him credit for. I do not think he's a great manager, but I don't think he's a bad one. So they all have decent managers. Leicester just went and got themselves a decent manager. Would you agree?
As long as you tell me it's Dean Smith and not Steve Bruce.
Yeah. Oops.
Because if it was that cabbage head, I'm definitely saying no. But it's Dean Smith, so
Yes.
I don't.
Dean Smith, and I think most importantly, bringing along his absolute favorite assistant coach,
Craig Shakespeare.
John Terry.
Oh, right, that guy. Oh, to be fair, that was the year when they went and had like 14 shutouts. They had 14 clean sheets that year.
I am not. I think John Terry, as much as he is not my favorite person, has handled the coaching side of his career very intelligently.
Yeah, I agree. I think that dude's got a championship job lined up somewhere. I'm sure after this stint, this is a good opportunity for Dean to recover his name too. He kind of flunked at Norwich, because he did have a job there first at the beginning of the season, and they did not exceed their expectations this year. So, I mean, for him to get another job in the Premier League, good for him. And I hope
See how long it lasts.
For 8 games at least.
I find it interesting how much Leicester seemed to be on the Jesse Marsh train, and then how quickly they got off it.
That happened twice to him. It was so strange. Because it happened to Southampton too. They were like, "Yeah, we're in close contact with Jesse
I
Marsh."
wonder if it's Jesse Marsh's camp. If his agent's talking it up, making it sound like more of a thing than it actually is.
Could be. That's smart on his agent's part, then.
Is it? Because now you look like the guy who failed 2 job interviews.
Well,
you look like the guy who got fired and then failed 2 more job interviews.
It could also be that they didn't like him because he's American, so it's biased.
Yeah, I'm not going to play that train.
No, okay. All right, fine. That's fine. Again, I still think Jesse Marsh has got a job somewhere. I don't know if it's going to be
I don't think he's a bad coach. I just think that, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm going to steal this one real quick, and we're already 48 minutes in, and I got some stuff I got to get to today. So we're going to jump right into true false.
Oh, fudge. Okay.
Dean Smith.
Not Smith.
Not Sean Dyche. Dean Smith. Yeah. Gets Leicester out of a relegation spot.
True. I'm not even going to let you finish that. Again, they have good quality. I think they have better quality than Nottingham Forest. I think that – hold on, let me see what they have a pretty easy schedule as far as what Opta decides to say. I just think that as long as their problem is they're not scoring goals. They need to get either Patson Daka, Harvey Barnes, who I think has picked up a knock, or Jamie Vardy, Madison, scoring goals. Because it hasn't been them letting in goals. They've been letting in maybe 2. But
I mean, their goal difference is the best of everyone around them.
Right.
Easily. They have less than half. And here's the thing. You say that they haven't been letting in goals.
Oh.
They have.
Did I have egg on my face?
52 goals against.
Yeah.
The team with the highest amount of goals against is Nottingham with 54.
Bournemouth with 57.
Yeah, but I don't count the Liverpool match. I'm just kidding. You're right. I missed one. My point is that's 5 away, and if you take that Liverpool match and make it 3-0 instead of 9-0,
then it's still yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The difference is they've scored 40. So it feels like they're not scoring enough, but they've scored 40. Nottingham Forest and Southampton have only scored 24.
So they need to see out games then, matches.
Yeah. And I remember It was October, early November, somewhere around there. But they had a match. I think it was against Wolves. They handled them 3-1, 4-1.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought finally they figured it out. This Leicester
Yeah.
team's going to do it. And now here we are, 30 matches played, 25 points. They're lucky that there are so many teams that are bad, or they would be left behind.
Yeah.
I mean, so is Southampton, who still has a shot at getting out of this.
It's kind of like the reverse of how they won the Premier League, essentially. Everyone was doing that less than what they expected, and they happen to do more than what they expected. Now they're doing less than what they're expecting, but everybody around them is also doing less than what they're expected.
Any other season, if one team has 25 points after 30 matches and have let in 50-plus goals, you go, okay.
That guy's gone. See you later.
I see you in 2 years, but I'm not seeing you next year.
Yeah.
Anyway, have you thought of a true false for me?
Yeah. So, true or false? Stanelli? Yeah.
Stellini.
Tottenham? Stellini? He will take over as the head coach.
Oh, false.
For Tottenham.
False.
I actually kind of like him.
Yes, and that's one of the reasons why he won't. Because Dan Levy thinks that they need to play like the big boys.
Yeah. See,
and he doesn't. I don't get it. That's not what you're not going to win that way.
So I was having this conversation in my head, and I feel like they actually shouldn't go out and get a high-profile coach. I want to would you consider Erik ten Hag a high-profile coach? Because that's about the level where I'm thinking.
Yes,
to be honest.
Yes, because everyone always freaks out about Dutch coaches that perform well in the Dutch league, and I don't know why.
Well, he also did a good job in Champions League too. So
yes, he did. But if I remember correctly, he was manager of
Ajax
when Ajax had
all those stellar
generation.
Oh, they were so good.
It's like when Monaco did so well for so long, and it's like, well, yeah, you had Thomas Lemar in his prime and Kylian Mbappe and like all these guys.
Thomas Partey.
I think Ten Hag's a good coach, but the question is, would I consider him a high-profile coach? And when Man United went out and got him, the thought that ran through my head, and maybe this is because I'm an American fan and not a proper European fan, but the thought that ran through my head was they're not trying to go get the big name. They're trying to go get the right guy.
Okay.
And so, yes, I think that they need to go get someone like that. They need to actually figure out, of course, their director of football is now in jail.
That's
or
true.
Suspended or whatever. I don't really know what happened.
I don't think he's actually on the team anymore.
I think Tottenham's biggest problem was
that might actually work better for him.
Yeah, I think it will. Their biggest problem was player acquisition. Everyone said they won the transfer market. Now this is before United just decided to drop a ton of money and get Casemiro and all that.
Yeah.
And obviously no one at that point realized that Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus were going to go off like they did, and all these different things happened. They did a lot of transfers that on paper looked good, but the bones of that squad are not good.
No. Kind of roddy.
They're obviously not bad. I'm saying this. They sit fifth.
Mm-hmm.
But the bones are not where they want to be, and going to get a high-profile manager is not going to be the solution. They need to go get – you know what I'm scared of? I'm scared that they go get Graham Potter and actually give him the time and the players.
I had that thought where – same kind of ideal where it was like, could Potter actually be the guy that could turn that team around? Like, they're not really – again, they're not really terrible. They're not they don't need to be turned around, but they need to breed a type of winning.
To be the level that they are claiming to be, yes, they need to be turned around, especially now because you have the aging squad.
Okay.
Dyer's too old. You can still play someone around Kane,
sure,
but he is getting older.
Well, you got Richarlison.
Lunan Song is just having a really bad season, and I don't know why. And I'm not saying it's age. You need to get rid of Richarlison.
Yeah.
While he's still worth any money.
Yeah.
Kulusevski, I think he's
a winger.
Yeah, he's a winger. I'm trying to remember age.
28.
Lloris is 36.
30. Yeah, he's old.
He definitely looks Dyer's 29, playing like 30.
Like a 30. Yeah, he looks like a 32-year-old.
You know, Emerson Royale is not the guy that you wanted. I was screwing it up. It's not Kulusevski. I was trying to think of Perisic, who is only 34. You need a lot of turnover. As much as we talk about a manager, this is a personnel issue. This is not a manager issue. Conte didn't win anything, and that's not entirely his fault.
Yep.
Is the point I'm trying to make. So, no, I don't think it's Stellini because I think Stellini might be the right idea, and I don't think they're smart enough to do that. However, it could be because I don't know who takes that job right now. That job feels like the Defense Against the Dark Arts position at Hogwarts. It is cursed. You will not win. And the other thing is, this is something I don't know, but the rumblings are just that Daniel Levy can't leave it alone. He keeps messing with stuff. He tries to be the puppet master behind the curtain.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. I'm sitting in upstate New York. I'm not in London. I don't know.
Sure.
But Conte left pissed. Mourinho left pissed. Mourinho got canned a week before a final.
Yeah.
That's not good terms. That is not good terms. Now, I understand Mourinho can rub anyone the wrong way, and Conte speaks in that I'm just an Italian saying it the way it is, and really I'm an arrogant bastard kind of way. But I don't know. I think Poch, and if you can't get Poch, I think they go after someone who's already been in the Prem who has name recognition because that's what they care about. So I could see a Potter. I could see I would bet that they would take Jesse Marsh before they took Stellini. That would be my guess.
I don't like that for Marsh. I just don't
Me either. I don't like it. I'm just saying that's where I would expect it to go. All right. Here is my next one for you.
Sure.
Palace on the up. We've been talking about how easy their season is. Mm-hmm. Fulham on the down. We've been talking about how tough their run of games are. Fulham have a game in hand, and they are 6 points ahead. However, Palace will finish higher than Fulham.
It's not out of the realm of possibilities. I think that's true. I think that's because, fine. Again, like they have this track history too, Palace does, where they always finish out the season so well. And I don't know if it's scheduling. Like the last 3 years, they've finished out the season spectacularly. And it's always the first half of the season they seem to struggle with. So I think this is actually going to be true.
I think that's more of the truth. I don't think that yes, they finish out the season spectacularly, but it looks spectacular based on how they start, and they just start bad.
Yeah.
I think that's more of the truth. They just start really bad, and they're not as bad of a team as they look when they start.
Yeah.
So then when you get to the end of the season and they can actually turn it on, they look a little bit better. Palace have Southampton away, Everton at home, Wolves away, West Ham at home, Tottenham away, Bournemouth at home, Fulham away, Nottingham Forest at home.
I mean,
to make it, you just said that you thought Fulham would get 6 points from that run of the games.
Yeah,
that sounds like a lot more than 12 points for Palace, and they would need 12 points to overtake Fulham.
Yeah, okay,
I think it's true.
I agree. That's why I said true.
All right.
Next one. True or false? Chelsea will finish no higher than 11th. And did I say that wrong? I did say that wrong. They will finish lower than 11th.
Lower than 11th.
Lower than 11th.
That's. I want it to be true, but it's false.
I don't know, man.
They're gonna finish. They're gonna finish above Fulham.
They don't have any reason to play, and that's why I say it. Like they got nothing. What?
They got reasons to play.
No, they don't.
Everyone has a reason to play, whether it's to have a starting spot at Chelsea next year or to look good to have some team come and say, "I want that guy."
Fine, players have a reason to play, but that team does not have anything going for them.
See, for them, you said they'll finish lower than 11th.
Lower than 11th.
Still dropping.
Correct. One more.
Here's my argument. Fulham have a game in hand, but they're level on points and pretty much level on goal difference with Fulham. And I think they're just going to outperform Fulham.
Here's why.
And I don't think Wolves is going to be high enough to jump both of them.
They're all fur coat and no trousers, man.
I agree.
They can't score.
30 points. They have 39. That is true. They have to put this in consideration. They have 11 less goals than the team that you said had a problem scoring.
What?
Yeah, they have 29 goals. Leicester have 40.
Oh.
Arsenal have 72 goals. City have 75.
Yeah.
Newcastle have 48. United have 44. A team that also feels like it never scores. It's funny how this works.
Yeah.
Tottenham have 55.
Gee.
Chelsea, here's my last one, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm going with false. I understand your arguments. I want it to be true. I'm going with false.
Fair enough.
Chelsea finish with less goals than Erling Haaland.
It's true. It's going to be true.
Chelsea have 29 goals. We've been talking about it. Erling Haaland right now has 30. And he has, if it's going to matter that much, he has everything to play for.
Oh, God, yeah.
So.
I'm just looking over their schedule. And it's Brighton, Man United shuffled in there somewhere. Brentford, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Forest, City, Newcastle. I'm going to say I really actually think that's true.
Yeah.
I don't have any other reason to believe that Haaland's not going to stop scoring.
He could score 3 or 4 against Forest.
Yep.
They have Forest and Bournemouth?
That's Chelsea.
Oh.
City have I'm looking it up right now. City of Leicester. They have Arsenal, Fulham, West Ham, Leeds, and Everton. Hold on, I got another thing. Chelsea and Brentford.
Yeah, I think it's true. I think it's going to be true. I think it's going to be hilarious.
And yeah, right. Can't wait for that to actually happen. I'm going to be honest. I don't have a third one. I did not think of anything off the top of my head.
No, that's good. We're at 105 minutes, so I think we can call it there.
Yep.
So if you are still listening, thank you very much for listening. We are Swinging at Shins. You can find us on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on all those wonderful places. If you want to hear more about Arsenal, I Do The Way West Stand, on our parent channel, Wicked Good Sports, you can also find them on all the places I just mentioned. Mm-hmm. And Aaron does the Villa. At any moment, Brian is going to be filling in for me for an indeterminate amount of time because my wife is 38 weeks pregnant. So if a guy who looks kind of like me but not quite as handsome is sitting to Aaron's left and doesn't know as much about soccer as I do, that's Brian. So extended Villa. It's going to feel like.
Well, that or this podcast is going to get really short too. It's going to be a half hour.
Also get
an hour.
So if you guys are curious, just look at the run times. If it's like an hour 5, an hour 10, an hour 5, an hour 15, 38 minutes, you know when I had the kid. All right. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys very much for listening.
Thank you, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for listening. Links for anything that you could be interested in, whether it's the YouTube channel, our podcast links, our social media links, everything's in the description below. Thank you very much for listening.